Hello and welcome to the world of Mojarto. Now winter's coming, at least in Delhi, but weddings are happening all over the country and it's just the right time for you to surround yourself with artwork, jewelry, collectibles, all that are available on mojarto.com. But every week, it's also our endeavor to take you behind the creative process of how a lot of this is put together. This week, we take you to meet Pratibha Dakoji and Devraj Dakoji, who are creators of some of the most amazing traditional prints that you'll ever find.
A day may come when the personal diaries you write your daily musings in may not be that personal to you anymore. But instead of selling them off as waste, you can roll pages and pages of them up into little balls for a soon-to-be created installation. Much like what artist and printmaker Pratibha Dakoji did with hers. But imagining beyond what meets the eye has its roots tucked deep into years of working with her husband Devraj in a studio dedicated to creating original prints of some of the most renowned Indian artists.
My husband did a master printer's course in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and worked at the New York Bob Lexman studio as well. He had enough experience, and he was the first of the person in India to do that course. So we decided that why doesn't he, kind of set up such a studio here on the international level. It makes them special because they are mostly done by an artist, who are painters or who are known painters and who are working for years in painting but have not been able to reach the masses through their painting. It's just like Raja Ravi Verma, who did a painting and did oleographs. So we do lithographs, etchings, lino cuts, not wood cuts, and in litho there are various techniques as well, so whichever suits the artist, that is called collaboration with the artist. Give him all the help on the studio. The artist has to be present there to do the prints, and that's why it is a bit cumbersome. So many artists would also stay away from it. In fact, when Devraj was working for Hussein, for instance, in New York, of course, he was not able to come to the studio over here. And he said that, Devraj, I find lithographs very cumbersome. And Devraj says, well, I'm going to introduce to something which you like it. And he agreed. It was a plate lithography with doing shinkole. The color papers are used. So he liked it, and he did several prints with him. So Devraj would introduce as a master printer the techniques to the artist according to their, temperament also, and guide them.
Atelier 221 was shut down over a decade back. But these prints, lithographs and etchings are still with the Dakojis and also part of a very special collection on Mojarto. The original stones used for etching still stand in peace in the courtyard of their Delhi residence. It is the fact that not a printing machine, but time with the artist, sometimes running into months, was the key behind each of these that makes them priceless in theory, with the sole purpose to make them affordable.
I, in fact, was interested because I thought it would reach people. Good art, aesthetic art, would be reasonable to reach to people who can't collect paintings which are out of reach, can't collect sculptures which are out, but prints they can. They have value. International market, these prints all over the world can be auctioned. They have the signature of the artist, they have the seal of the studio, so they have value. They are not like digital prints or silkscreen prints which don't have any mark or anything.
True treasures to have in your trove.
Alright, so at Mojarto, we love to bring you artwork from so many artists, so much new talent, so many young people, but we also love to pay tribute to those who have been an integral part of the pillars of the art foundation. Suhas Roy recently passed away. Here's a tribute.
Before he received much acclaim for his Radha series, artist Suhas Roy had already achieved the honor of having his interpretation of Jesus hang in the prestigious halls of the Vatican City, the home of the Pope. His work in printmaking and glass painting was also lesser in the limelight than Radha, who he compares in beauty and mystery to Madonna or the Blessed Virgin, beautiful but unattainable and unreal. Suhas Roy, one of India's iconic painters, sadly passed away in October, and Mojarto is proud to put out a collection of his works as a tribute.
Suhas Roy, he started painting in 50s and 60s. Most noteworthy is 1970s series. He calls it the Cow series. He painted that for about 15 years, and then he moved on and religiously only painted landscapes for a very long time, before he moved to figurative works, which was most often tribal women. But in the last 15 years, almost a decade and a half, 2 decades, he focused on a figure and he called it Radha. People say that he stayed with the Radha series for far too long, but he was never apologetic about creating that body of work. And it's a very small collection that we have on Mojarto from this body of work.
Well, that's all for this week. Remember, Mojarto is your one-stop for anything to do with art, collectibles and jewelry. But however, we also aim every week to bring you stories around how these things are created, the people behind them, because eventually what we're trying to do here is take art outside its bubble, out of its bubble rather, and bring it to you in the most simplified way possible. Keep watching us.